When I picked this up, I said, oh, she's a winner. Okay, she is a winner. Calm down. Why are you so damn big? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel via Glow. If you're new here, my name is Gloria and I'm a full-time reseller on multiple different apps and I resell clothes and shit. So in today's video, I'm doing yet another what sold last week. And these are going to be sales from March 31st all the way up until April 6th. And I do my books Monday through Sunday. So I'm going to show you guys my sales Monday through Sunday. So let's just jump in. The very first thing that sold on Monday, March 31st was this men's Banana Republic sweater. I really only picked this up because it was brand new. That was the only reason. Banana Republic is not really a brand that I can just pick up any and everything. So the new tags is the only thing that sold me, but it was a smaller size for men. This one probably took like 4 or 5 months to sell, so it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't the best. But of course, it sold for my $20, so we love that. So these next 3 sales that are in order are from the buyer that I told y'all about last week. So she ended up buying 1 item and then she sent me a whole bunch of offers on 6 items. 4 of them I accepted, and then 1 of them, I think 2 of them I countered, and then she came back and bought another item, and then she bought another item. So we'll get into it and I'll let you guys know which sale that was. So the very first one was this Ralph Lauren maxi dress. I literally had this since summer of 2022. Okay. I remember a reseller talking about Ralph Lauren maxi dresses selling. And of course I picked it up. It was a larger size. So I'm like, oh, this is going to do great. It took 3 years, y'all. Okay, 2.5 years. But I went on and accepted the $25 offer. So yeah, the next one was this Sundance top. I also sourced this at the beginning of last year. It was so early on that I was still living in my sister's house. So this was a minute, okay? It had to have been March of 2024 before I moved out. But anyways, this one finally sold for $35. It was new with tags. I did source this one at a regular thrift store. I think my cost of goods was $351 when I did my books. So the next one was this Kalisa top. I also sourced this at a regular thrift store with y'all, and I had went back and forth because the sell-through rate was not where I needed it to be. However, I had to factor in like, okay, we are not in the season in these past 3 months, are not going to show spring items doing well because it's, fall and winter. So I had to factor that in, but I looked at the price points and I was completely okay with it. So I received a $25 offer. I accepted it because I thought that that was a reasonable price point. This one was a different buyer. Now I'm actually pretty upset because she purchased this on the 31st. I shipped it out April 1st, and it is currently April 9th. She has not received this piece. We went back and forth in the messages. It's literally just stuck in Florida for some reason. So I feel so bad because she had planned on taking it on a vacation. So very upsetting. But this was a Cobby dress. I had recently, like maybe 4 or 5 months ago, realized that Cobby is just not the it girl anymore. So I ended up making sure that I didn't price this one that high. And it sold for $28, which I think was pretty good. This one was actually my favorite sale. I don't know if it was a favorite for the week. It might have been, I don't know. But this one was a vintage 70s Gunny Sacks Jessica McClintock dress. Now, I had to factor in a lot when I priced this item. Of course, I looked at all the other, sizes of this item. I looked at the style and I looked at the price points that they sold for and what people were listing theirs for. And I came to, I want to say about $130. And I received a $90 offer. During this time, sales weren't like super exciting, so I did accept it. But realistically, I wanted about $110 from this piece. But again, I had to factor in that this style is just not an everyday style. So I should take what I can get. And $90 was not bad because I did get this from the bin. So it was still a really good sale. All right, so this one was a Nick and Nora pair of pajama pants. I actually was happy that I was able to sell these because I picked them up because I did personally hear like, oh, Nick and Nora performs well, depending on what you get. I didn't realize that this used to be sold at Target, if I'm not mistaken. So I definitely be very cautious. Some pieces are going to be worth a lot more than others. But I just figured that, hey, if I can just plug in the right keywords and price it correctly, I can get it to sell. So I know moving forward, I will go about it differently, because I remember coming across this, picked it up, and then I came across another piece and I was just like, I don't think I'm going to get this one just because my other one didn't sell. So I definitely missed out on some money by doing that. So moving forward, I will look at it from a different stance, you know. Okay. The next one was this Jennifer and Grace Anthropologie top. Super cute little number. I've been picking this brand up a lot lately, and it does get attention, so I absolutely love that. But this was just a cute little piece. I knew the tags and stuff that I had planned on using, because it gave very much so cottagecore, boho, peasant, and all of that. So love that. All right, this was another piece from the lady that bought a whole bunch of items. This was a brand called Karen Seal. And I saw a lot of the price points and the comps at the time selling for a decent amount. Nice. So I ended up making sure that I priced this one accordingly. And initially I did feel some type of way, because I'm like, maybe I priced this too damn high. But I think I priced it at like 65, because that's what the comps were saying at the time of me pricing it. And I think I had this for maybe 2 or 3 months. So I was really happy with that $45 offer. All right, this was a new to me piece. It is from Anthropologie, and the brand is called DRA. This one was a really pretty piece, and again, this one did go for a little bit under than I would have liked. However, I factored in that I had just listed it, and it was what, like 2 days, and I'm like, yeah, I'll go ahead and accept it, because if I don't accept this offer, who knows how long it's gonna sit. So I was eager to go ahead and get it out the door. The next one was this Japhna women's bodysuit, or not bodysuit, jumpsuit. I picked this up due to style. I thought this piece was perfect. I thought the size was perfect. Japhna is a boutique brand, but it's not really a brand that I pick up. I think I've picked it up maybe 1 or 2 times, but this one just had a little bit more going for it, so that's why I grabbed it. And I did not price it that high, just because it's a boutique brand. So I know moving forward, I may start to look into the brand a little bit more when the size is a good size and the style is a good style. So yeah, this sold for my full asking price, which we love. I had a lot of sales this day. Okay, so the next one was this piece that I also sourced at a regular thrift store with y'all. I had went back and forth on picking this up, just because I don't generally like to pick up style-based pieces at regular thrift stores. I feel like even though I feel so comfortable picking them up at a Ben's location, it's because I pay $1 for it. If it flops, I can still sell it for $15, $12. But if it's a thrift store find, that means I've paid a little bit more for it. So I want to get a little bit more for it. But I just knew that this one was special because the size and the style and just all the keywords that I had planned on using. I received a offer. I think this one sold for either 25 or 28. Yeah, sold for $25. So yeah, I think this was a pretty good piece, and I would 1000% pick it up again. Very fast flip, sold within a month, so we love that. All right, then the last thing to sell on Monday was this Rebecca Taylor 100% silk top. This again sold to that lady that bought all those items. This was the piece that I had countered, and she actually purchased it at that price point. So I was pretty happy with that. Rebecca Taylor is a brand that is really expensive, but it just doesn't hold its resale value. So any piece that you pick up, I would highly suggest you look into the style and the size and the sellable features and factors that you can like stack on each other to make sure that you can get this one to sell. This one had quite a few, so I'm just like, I think I can take my chance, and I just made sure that I priced it accordingly, because I feel like that happens a lot of the time. It's like you sit there and you pick up items and you assume like, okay, this is a good brand, this is a good fabric content because it's silk, and then it just stops there, and it's like, no, you have to add more to it, and you got to add keywords. You just got to make this piece very sellable, and at the time of you picking it up, that is when you are supposed to factor stack before you even pay your money for it. And yeah, that was a pretty good piece. All right, moving on to Tuesday, April 1st. This was a Tommy Bahama like tunic. Y'all saw this in a ship and shop video, but this was a pretty good piece. I love picking up Tommy Bahama, especially in larger sizes. This was a Lululemon women's like t-shirt. I have a lot of luck selling these. I've definitely sold like 3 or 4 of these. So every time I see them at the bins, I pick them up and I price them accordingly. The next one was this THML top. Y'all, I swapped this item and the daily practice sweater. And the buyer that got the daily practice sweater, instead of her 𝕃𝕊𝕂 reached out. I ended up reaching out to the daily practice person. They never responded. So right now I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting. If the 𝕃𝕊 girl comes back out, I'll probably just completely refund her. But the daily practice person hasn't said anything. So I'm kind of annoyed. But both of them were an extra small. So what are the odds? So that's my fault, because in that video, if y'all notice, because I went and watched the video back to see why didn't I clock it. I typically have all of my shipping labels in order, and I pull the item from whatever that shipping label says. And since at the time of the video, I didn't want to get up to go get wrapping paper to wrap the daily practice sweater up, I decided to just ship the 𝕃𝕊 one. And instead of me saying, oh yeah, let me put that, thing to the side and grab the regular label, I didn't. I just used the same one. And then even when it was time for me to ship the daily practice piece, why didn't I clock it? So that's definitely, my fault, of course, but I flopped. But anyways, the next one was this bundle sale, and this one was actually a pair of sweatpants from a fast fashion brand called 𝕃𝕀ℕ𝕂. And then she also bundled a little girl's like dress set. So that one was a decent flip. I kind of wanted a little bit more, but I didn't want to be greedy, so I accepted that one. The next one was a style-based pickup. I knew that this was a wonderful indie sleeves bodysuit, so that's why I grabbed it. And I didn't want to wait around any longer for $5 more, so I accepted the $15 offer. This pair of Free People pants. These are like a wide leg, baggy, semi-low-rise type of pant. I did price these higher up just because it was a really good style. And yeah, this Made by 𝕃𝕀ℕ𝕂 pair of trouser pants sold for my full asking price. Unfortunately, this buyer did reach out to me to let me know that the fitting of them is very odd. She didn't ask for a return or anything, which I kind of was expecting her to do so, but I was actually really like nice to her about it, because I'm like, girl, I completely understand. Most of literally about 90% of the pair of pants that I put on, I have to put them right up under my bust in order for them to fit well. So I told her, like, I'm so sorry that they don't fit, but the measurements that I provided, they seem like they would have for a size 8. So. All right, the next one was actually a pretty fun piece, but I'm pretty disappointed, because I know for a fact I could have got more for this had I probably put it on a mannequin and just kind of showcased it a little bit better. But this is when I was first just really tapping into like the fairy dresses and stuff like that. I had watched a few deep dives on Reseller's Edge. I do have a link down below, shameless plug. You'll get 50% off your very first month. But they did a deep dive of these dresses, and I felt very drawn to start looking for them. And I was really happy with this one. It was a larger size, but just looking at the photo, I feel like if I would have put this on my mannequin, even if I kind of like tweaked it a little bit by putting like a tie to kind of make it look more, custom to my mannequin's body, I feel like this one could have sold for a lot more. But I did have this one priced initially when I listed it at like $85. And as time went on, I just keep dropping it. And this person came in and sent me a $46 offer. And I still thought that that was pretty reasonable for a bins pickup. So I was happy with that. But I just think that that one, at the very least, could have sold for about $60, Anyways, the next one was this cami from Abercrombie & Fitch. It was a Y2K moment, but I was just happy that I have found this piece, because I knew I was going to get at least 15 to 20 bucks for it. So they actually asked me, could I do 19? And I was like, of course. So I changed the price and they purchased it. All right, this is a Sundance piece. And just as a disclaimer, I actually ran a weekend sale of 25% off on my eBay store. I am just trying to work out a few things on my eBay store to try to get her back where she needs to be. Just kind of like a rehab moment, the same way I did with Depop, with me pretty much just boosting all of my items and being very proactive with sending out offers and accepting offers, even though it literally like 95% of the time they don't actually pay, but still just trying to remain proactive on there to just kind of get me on the algorithm good side. I'm trying to do the same thing with eBay. So I think occasionally I'm going to run more sales, because generally I would only run like maybe 2 discounted sales a year. So I am working on trying to make it a little bit more frequent and just working on that part. But anyway, so I did run a 25% off sale on eBay. This Sundance piece was garbage. I picked it up solely for the brand. It was nothing good about it. Y'all can even see the type of title that I had. It was nothing else that I could plug in. So this was definitely just a brand-based pickup, and y'all see with that price point, don't do that. This one was Aritzia. It was a Wilfred Free top. Wilfred Free. Say that 3 times. But this one was a 2. Well, I guess it was an extra, extra small. So I knew I was going to be sitting around for this one, but it only took like 5 months to sell, which is a long time, but not that long. I have noticed that Aritzia is just not the top dog. I think it's maybe specific pieces. So I would highly suggest you look into it before you purchase it. If you get it from the bins, 9 times out of 10, you could at the very least flip it for 15, 20. So I think it's still good to pick up. But if you are at a regular thrift store, I wouldn't suggest it. All right, this was a piece I was so excited to find at the bins. It's Lunya. I initially picked these up and they had sat in my dirty clothes for a few weeks, and I finally washed them. The stain came out. I was so happy. You already know. I know, some silk isn't washable, but I am very delicate when I wash these types of pieces. Wash them in cold water, and then I let them line dry. I don't put them on a line, but I just lay them around so they air dry. Anyways, and I took these out the washer machine at my at my apartment, because I used to have to do like community laundry. I actually have a washer and dryer in my apartment, so I'm so happy about that. But anyways, I know that's just like such a small luxury, but I took them out the washer, and at the washateria at that apartment complex, it would always be a puddle in there when people are washing clothes, and it was dirt on the floor. And guess what? They fell. And I was so angry because I'm like, I was so happy that the stain came out and now they're dirty again. So they went right back into my pile, my dirty clothes pile, and I waited to wash them. And I finally washed them when I was moving out that apartment. And these sold within, I want to say maybe 2 weeks for $46. And I was really happy about that. So Lunya definitely is a Bolo brand. So pick it up when you see it. Anyways, so right at the time, I was deciding on what type of markdown or sale or coupon I wanted to run. I did like a buy 3, get 15, or no, I didn't. I did a spend 50, get $15 off. So I think this person took advantage of that, which is what we want. So these are 3 items that sold all together from the same buyer. All of them are linen, so she has great taste. But this one was a artisan New York 100% linen top. It was a size large. I told y'all I love picking up linen. This is the season. Get it listed. Don't price it too high, and you're going to get some good sales. The next one was a magic linen top. This was a new to me brand. The logo just literally had an M on it. So I had to do a lot of digging in order to find out, this exact piece. So I was able to find that the brand is called Magic Linen. Priced this one a little bit higher just because it was like a layered lagging look. It was giving very much so like magnolia pearl, hobo chic. So definitely priced that one a little bit higher. Then I had this Saks Fifth Avenue like hooded linen tunic top. I've had this one for a while, so maybe about 5 months. So that one has been a minute. But this bundle sold for $76.72. So I think that was a pretty good sale. Oh, I made another sale. Oh, nice. It was the dress. How much did it sell for? Okay, not that much. Okay, anyways, so the next one was actually this Susan Graver blazer jacket. I have been experimenting with this brand, I want to say over the summer of last year, and it was performing well. And then the same thing happened, you know, you mention it, bigger creator mentions it, and then, you know, it just gets super oversaturated, and, you know, it happened. So I picked this one up due to the style and the sellability. This one got a lot of attention, but nobody wanted to pull the trigger, which is totally fine. But the right person came along, saw value in it, and paid my full asking price. So we love that. Okay. This one was a bundle on Poshmark. And this is a 3-piece bundle. She also had amazing taste. I'm trying to figure out why these seem like they're all jumbled up. Oh, no, 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 never mind. So I filmed a pool with me video, and I was going to edit the video, and I noticed that 70% of the clips, the mic wasn't on. Yeah, so I ended up scraping the video. Let me make sure, yeah, it's on. So that's why everything is feeling familiar. And I'm like, didn't I talk about this already? But it's because I filmed a video that I didn't even get to put out. So content creating, I literally wasted like a good hour and a half of my day. But who cares? Anyways, so this was a 3-piece bundle. She is a great person because these are all great pieces. So the first one is a cashmere piece from Ann Taylor. I had this girl for a while, definitely like 8 or 9 months. I think it was a smaller size. I don't know. Maybe I didn't use the right keywords. I don't know. Let me see. Actually, yeah, I didn't use the right keywords. I only put V-neck, lightweight, luxury. Not good at all. Definitely have to do better. But anyway, so that one took forever and a day to sell. The next one from this bundle was a J. Crew sweater. It was specifically the Teddy sweater. So I was able to find 2 pieces that was Teddy sweaters. One was in, I want to say, a navy blue, I want to say. I'm not sure, colorway. And I initially wanted to bundle them together, but I opted out of doing so just because I felt like I could sell them for a better price point separately. And the last piece was this Banana Republic zebra sweater. So the day that they purchased this, I just listed the Banana Republic sweater like the day before. So this is a really fast turnaround. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of Banana Republic, but just some pieces are worth it. This had a zebra novelty print to it, and it was like a wool blend. So I think that was a pretty good sale. And that one actually sold for $57. Okay, moving on to the next day. This was a Abercrombie and Fitch skirt. I picked this one up due to style, but I feel like Abercrombie and Fitch kind of also helped the item. I planned on using dark academia, and it was a larger size. So this one just kind of had the trifecta. Probably, maybe not the trifecta because it didn't have like a good like fabric content. So the brand was good, the size was good, the fact that I can use the right keywords was good. But let this have been silk, this would have just, it would have been like, yes, you know? So that's something that I try to make sure that I do when I am sourcing, is to factor stack those style-based pieces because it's so important. All right, this one was a random pickup. I am getting out of kids' clothes, but this was a little kids like overall situation. I had looked on eBay for this brand and overalls and stuff like that, and I had noticed that it was selling for like $20-25. So I said, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get it. It was no attention on it. So when they sent me $12, I'm like, of course, let's get it out the door. Okay, this one was a piece that I picked up and I took a chance on because I don't like picking up Adidas. Adidas is just not one of those brands that you source a lot of unless you know exactly what you're picking up. But I did specifically look at Adidas bodysuit size medium, and I did see a sell-through rate that I was content with and a comp price point that I was content with. And yeah, I was pretty happy with the $20 flip. This one was pretty disappointing just because this style was just amazing and it was a pretty good size, but the brand is ass. So I did not price this high initially, but this person came in and sent me a $15 offer. I didn't want to wait too long because what I do sometimes when I see an offer on an item, I will go to eBay specifically and check and see how many people have watched it or not watched it, but just like viewed it, and then if it has any watchers. And if I see a high count of views and nobody, is watching it, and I have it priced the lowest on eBay, I know that something is wrong. So I recognize like, okay, maybe I'm not going to get $20 for this because it's not even doing well on eBay. Like I think it had like 15 people that viewed it with 0 watchers. So I'm like, it's got to be the price point. So I went on and accepted the $15. I know that may not be like the best type of mindset, but I feel like when you do volume, you pick up things from the bins. I think that you really want to make sure you are turning and burning your items and not holding out for a couple of more dollars on these low level pieces. Because even though the style is good and the size is good, who knows how long I would have waited for potentially not even, banking on making an extra $5, but potentially making $5 more. I didn't want to risk it. So I went on and accepted it, and we got it out the door. Okay. The next one is this J.Crew dress. I was so like happy when I found this. I love picking up J.Crew. I don't care what anybody says. J.Crew is the it girl. She is a consistent seller in my business, and I just love her down. Okay. But this one had quite a few factors. It was a newer style J.Crew. The label that's newer is like in really big font, which I don't even understand because it's like, calm down. Why are you so damn big? But this one not only was a size 12, it had a really good fabric content, which was linen. So this one just hit the trifecta, and I knew that this one was going to perform well. I did price it a little bit higher than I typically price my J.Crew pieces, but I knew that this one was going to do well. So I got a good old $30 from that, and I got that one from the bins. Okay. The next one was from a pretty recent haul. It was a pair of American Eagle stovepipe jeans. So I guess moving forward, all of these sales are from the 25% off on eBay. So yeah, maybe I confused myself. So maybe I didn't start the sale until Friday, not necessarily Thursday. So I did price these, I want to say at like $34 because why did I say 34? But I initially wanted $30 for these. But of course, I had a sale going on, so they got a pretty good price point for these. I actually just sold the other pair for $30 today, or yesterday. So it was pretty exciting. Those are very fast flips. I would never not look into American Eagle in a larger size if it is a custom inseam, or not necessarily custom, but like a shorter inseam. Anyways, the next one was this 𝕃𝕀ℕ𝕂𝕊 top. I thought this top was hideous, but it was an extra large and it was mauve. So I'm just like, oh, I got to get this. Not the most excited for the price point because I don't come across a lot of extra large mauve, but what can you do? All right, this one was a style-based pickup. It literally was just like a velour slip dress. Thought it was so stinking cute. This one did sell on Mercari. I hadn't seen a Mercari sale in a minute. I think I told y'all, or I don't think the video, yeah, I scrapped the video, I forgot. Mercari, I have been noticing a steep decline. So before, Mercari does show you your view count and stuff. Before, my view count used to be like, 20, 30, the first day, maybe 10, 15, views. Now I'm getting like 1 to 5 views. Okay. And it'll be like a day or two later where I'll go back and, I'm cross-listing it and I'll see an item and I'll see that it only has like 3 views on it. So like, I don't know if they just completely took me off of the homepage or what, but the sales are scarce over there. Let me actually look. Today is the 9th. So I didn't close my books, but I do my books weekly. So I only have a total of 4 sales on Mercari since April has started. Generally, I sell about 25 to 30 pieces a month. So I'll just do 28. So 28 divided by 4. That's about 7 items that sells a week. So I'm behind. This one was a brand that I remember checking comps on, and I was satisfied because I'm like, okay, I know I can get about $20 for it. And I didn't get that because I ran a sale. But the brand is called Peace Sale. I think if you can get one with a good fabric content, you can get a little bit more. But yeah. The next one was this Talbot's women's pair of Western pants. This was also in the haul video. Again, it did go a lot lower than I would have liked. Typically my price point on eBay is I will price an item at the price point that I actually wanted to sell for on eBay. So when I send out offers, that's just an added little like push for them to buy it. All right, so the next one that sold was this Barbara Gerwitt dress. This looked just like a Lily Pulitzer piece, and it was an extra large. I would highly suggest you look into the size and the style before you pick it up, and only pick it up at the bins. So yeah, that's just my recommendation. All right, this one was a Alter State piece. I don't really like picking up this brand because it just doesn't do that well. But this was a style-based pickup. I picked this up because I knew that I was going to use, festival, Western, fringe, and all the things. And it just was a perfect top. This one sold for $19. It's so funny because I sent out offers on Depop, and I believe I sent out $20 offers. Somebody countered at 15 and I accepted it because I'm just like, oh, I'll get 15 for it. I don't have a problem with it. Next thing I know, she sends me a message asking me how long is it. I provide her with the measurements and then she just vanishes. And it annoyed me because when she sent the question, I sent her a message like, hey, if you purchase this today, I'll get it shipped out tomorrow. And she was like, oh, thank you. But how long is it? And where does it land on your body type? How tall are you? I'm just like, girl, why would you counter if you had no intent of actually buying it? Like they're so aggravating over there. All right, moving on to the next one. This was also a style-based pickup. This was just a crochet knit top. Again, this is a keyword stuffed. And this one sold for $18. They sent me an $18 offer. I'm like, of course, it's yours. This one was a style-based pickup as well. The brand is called Carol Anderson, but this was 100% linen, and it was a size extra large, and it was in my price point that I want to sell these pieces for. So yeah, that was a pretty good pickup. This one was a piece that I was happy to find because I didn't know that it was such a good brand. And the price point is not the most exciting, but it's still a decent one. The only reason why I was a little annoyed about it because I wanted to get about $30 just because this is a decent piece. But the problem is that, we are moving out of sweater season. So like I told y'all before, you just want to be mindful of that so you are not sitting on pieces. Okay, so this was a bundle that I actually made for the buyer. She wanted a shipping discount and she wanted them to be together. So we're going to just open up the listing, but I just went to Canva and just made bundles. So I'm just going to hold on to that for anybody that wants me to make them specific bundles. But the very first piece was this no. It was I don't even have it in the title, but it's an apartment 9 top. When I picked this up, I said, oh, she's a winner. Okay, she is a winner. And I knew that I was going to sell this off of Style Alone. I actually didn't even put apartment 9 in the title, but I'll just read it off, but I put vintage 90s women vamp top, extra large, red, black, paisley, whimsy goth, witchy, dark grunge, bell sleeve, ruffle trim, crinkle cut. It's a lot, I know. But I was trying to get the right buyer and she got the item. And this was the other piece. She definitely has style. This was a motel mini skirt. I knew that this was also going to be like a style-based pickup. The brand is actually not bad. It's motel, but I knew that this was more style-based than anything. So for this one, I used motel women's Gior. I'm assuming that was the style name of the skirt, and I'm probably pronounced that wrong, so just mind your business. In Blooming Rose, medium, red fairy grunge micro mesh. So yeah, that was a pretty good bundle. And this one sold for $45. So love that. All right, moving on. This one was a Ralph Lauren dress. I don't like picking these up. I think I had a total of like 3 of these in my closet. So at this point, if y'all go to my closet and y'all see these dresses and you want it, just send me a $20 offer and I'll accept it. I promise. I'm just over Ralph Lauren. Pieces like this anyways that don't make sense. Yeah. Anyways, this is REI Co-op. These are just like some hiking pants. These sold for $20. This was a pair of Lululemon Align leggings. These flipped really quickly. Y'all remember I actually purchased these at a buy-sell trade store for myself, but I wore them out one day, and I kid you not, they just kept rolling down. I mean, rolling down. And I'm just like, oh no, this isn't going to work. So clearly I'm not a 14 in Lululemon and I need to size down. So that's my fault. This one was a pretty disappointing sale only because I wanted so much more for these. I remember when I sourced these, I initially was like, I'm going to actually pull these and wear them for the summer. But, you know, here we are. But it's just these flax linen shorts. They were a size extra large. Somebody took full advantage of that 25% off sale. These are a pair of Lululemon women's speed up low rise shorts. Again, I think that's a good price point to sell these at. So this is a man's Prada button-down shirt. Oddly enough, I pulled this from my inventory and this was sitting in a pile of things that I was going to be redonating. So I did pull that out and was happy that I, sold it for 16 bucks. All right, so we've made it to the last day. It was a Prada shirt. But anyways, the next one is this Aria collection, women's sleep robe dress situation. So I actually was in Walmart maybe like a month or so ago, and I saw this brand. And I was so disgusted because I'm like, I did not know this was a Walmart brand. So moving forward, I won't pick this up. Maybe I'll pick it up if it's a plus size and a good style like this one. But I did not know it was sold at Walmart. All right, so this was actually a pair of Good American shorts. This brand is definitely not a good brand to look out for. So I was content with $23 on these shorts. The next one was another piece that I had pulled from my inventory that was sitting off to the side. Ended up, selling it for $14. So clearly I made, $30 for 2 items that was literally going to be redonated. So maybe I need to rethink my donation pile. Anyways, the next one was a pair of 𝕃𝕀ℕ𝕂 pants. These sold a lot quicker than I thought that they were going to sell for. I think these sold within like 3 days. I literally photographed them. I saw a flaw on them and I'm like, okay, I'm going to wash these. So yeah, I'm just going to be getting them out today. So I feel kind of bad. But she did purchase them like 2-3 days ago, and you get 7 days to ship on Poshmark. So I'm still within the shipping time frame, but still. This one was from a brand that I had picked up a few times and it flipped pretty quickly. So I thought it was like a pretty good brand to pick up at a regular thrift store. Don't do that. Only pick it up at the bins. But this was a Carve Designs top. They do kind of like what Pack do, and they have like a organic, they're sustainable and things like that with their fabric. So yeah, I'd say pick it up at the bins and at the bins only, and know how to market it as well. This one was pretty interesting because I listed this pretty low because I had noticed that a lot of them that were still listed were listed pretty high. So I listed this one low and it got a lot of attention. I think I relisted it maybe like 2 times, and they finally purchased it after that 25% off sale. This one was a viewer, or not a viewer, I don't know if it's a viewer actually, but she purchased 2 items. I did have to combine shipping and refund her the difference, but this is a Ralph Lauren top. For some reason, I thought this one was going to do numbers on Depop, just given the fact of the keywords that I use, but it didn't. So I was pretty happy that it did so anyway. So all right, this one is a women's Chico's top. This is the other item that sold with the Ralph Lauren piece. This was 100% linen, and it was just like this really cute top. I make sure that I put linen, and if it's 100%, right in the front, because I want them to know like, hey, look, this is the item that you need right now, okay? So go ahead and get it. So yeah, pretty good piece. All right, another good sale was this Abercrombie & Fitch women's wide leg linen pants. These were a size large and it was in a really good colorway. So I was really happy with this flip because of course I did get it from the bins. But yeah, I know that Abercrombie & Fitch has been a brand that people are saying like it is declining, but I think that it is really geared toward the jeans. The denim is just completely oversaturated and it's just not as popular as it once was, like most things. So yeah, if you can find other things, I would highly suggest you pick it up. All right, so the last thing to sell on Sunday was this women's Zara 100% linen top. I like to pick up Zara linen pieces when they make sense. I recently saw like a crop top long sleeve in a size small at the bins. Did not pick it up. It didn't make sense. The size threw it off. The crop top threw it off. But I pick up Zara linen when it's in a larger size, large and over, because they generally perform well. So love that. This video is long, y'all, and it's because I had a lot of items. I think I made over $1,600 this week, which we love. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you made it this far, please let me know one of your best sales that you've had so far, because you already know I'm nosy. I guess I'll have to reflect and say that the Gunny Saks dress, because it sold for the most, and I kind of love a good high price sale, you know? So yeah, that's all that I have, but I will see y'all the next one. Bye. Binana.